Hi there, welcome to this fourth in the Titanic series that we've been doing. We're really interested in just thinking about the story and learning some lessons that we might apply to our lives. It's not only an interesting story, but it's an instructive story. I'm thinking today about Titanic's last song. You know, when the crew members were seen watching the musicians walking across the ship and through the various lounges, they laughed to themselves and they thought, these men, they just want to save their instruments. William Hartley was 33 years of age. He was the oldest of the musicians on board. There were some guys that were a lot younger. And they gathered underneath one of the great funnels and they played above the first class lounge. And it is reported that to start with they played things like Alexander's Ragtime Band and secular music, you might say. But there came a point, and some reckon it was about 30 minutes before the ship went down, that they started to play religious music. Now, the period they were playing for, there was probably room for about 30 songs, which probably gives an explanation to why so many people have different views as to what was played. I've got some records here that we've looked up and checked out and verified from those who survived as to what was played. It's interesting just to hear. So I was looking at some of them here. This man, who's the fourth officer, Boxall, he's the one who said that the 1911 hit Alexander's Ragtime Band was played. Then others said that different tunes like Glowworm, In the Shadows, Moonstruck, Oh You Beautiful Doll were played at the time. After a time, of course, as I say, that last half hour, some people reckon, Mrs. Emma, I think you say, Chabert in lifeboat number 11 on the starboard side, she said that after playing the ragtime tune for a while, they changed to hymns. In particular, they played Shall We Meet Beyond the River. Dr. Dodge, who was in lifeboat number 13, he heard them play Lead Kindly Light and the Encircling Gloom, Amid the Encircling Gloom. Other hymns such as Abide With Me and Eternal Father Strong to Save. Amazing, really, isn't it? If you were facing the end of life and tragedy, where would you turn? My fear is in a secular society, many people wouldn't know where to turn. I know they weren't all Christians in the days of the 1912 and round about that period, but there was a greater awareness of God. There was a greater reality about the brevity of life and the need to know about the next life and about the truth of the Word of God. You know, the people, as they faced that tragedy, you know, it was an awful, awful thing. This man, Jacob Gibbons, who was a steward in the same lifeboat number 13, he said this: the cries were terrible. He said, I doubt they will ever leave me. It has been denied that the band played, but it was doing so, and the strains of Nearer My God to Thee came clearly out over the water with a solemnity that words cannot express. Nearer, my God, to Thee. Do you know, when life is over, you would want to be near God. You would want to know the peace of God. You would want to be ready to meet Him, and you can be, because He loves you so much. He sent His Son. His Son is Jesus, and He came to the world, and He came by a miraculous means of virgin birth. He did miraculous things. You would expect God, the Creator, to do those things if He was to come, that we would know who He was. Let me go back to some of the other witnesses here. R.W. Daniels on boat number 3, he recalled only before the final plunge did they change, and then they played Nearer My God to Thee. Also in number 11 lifeboat, Marie Jerwin, she observed the lights had disappeared. The bow was submerged, but we still heard Nearer My God to Thee, to which we joined with all our heart. Do you know, I'm just looking for my note here, sorry, I've covered it up. Wallace Hartley, the musician who led the band, when he was aboard the Mauretania, his friend Elwand Moody had asked him what he would play if involved in a shipwreck. And he had replied, I would play O God, Our Help in Ages Past, or Nearer My God to Thee. You know, that really tells me that Wallace Hartley had considered death. He had considered the question of facing death. I wonder if you have. You know, there's a man in the Bible called the Apostle Paul, and when he faced death, he said, I am now ready. He said, I know whom I have believed, and I know, I am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I've committed unto him. Are you ready to meet God? Have you committed your soul to God? Have you asked for his forgiveness? Have you trusted Jesus Christ who died for you? I would pray that you could sing with all confidence the words of that hymn, "Nearer, my God, to thee." He wants to wash you clean. He wants to change your life. He wants to set you on the road to heaven. He wants to give you peace within your troubled soul. May God bless you. Thank you very much for watching today's video.